What is up, dudes? My name is Dude, and welcome back to some more Katawa Shoujo. The lunch and the afternoon class passed uneventfully. I read most of the book I had started yesterday, and eat some of the most... Okay. I read most of the book I had started yesterday, and eat some of the mostly inedible offerings of the cafeteria. Inedible offerings. Wow, what a way to describe it. I guess that's what you do when you read books all day. You speak like this. The class is tiresome. The teacher seems like an okay person, despite the weird first impression I got. The material is relatively interesting. No, didn't mean to do that. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. Maybe everyone is. When the final bell ring sounds even, I realize that there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, feeling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. You didn't have 24 hours of free time. Like, no matter what, you don't. I mean, unless you consider sleeping a choice, which it isn't. You will die if you don't sleep for an allotted amount of time, so you really don't have 24 hours a day. Maybe one day you'll have 24 hours, but then you probably shouldn't stay up the next day for 24 hours, and you definitely shouldn't stay up the next day all day either, because at a certain point you start hallucinating and stuff, and it's just bad, and then after a little while you die, and that, you know, that kind of sucks, that whole dying part. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Muto is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyebrows from his paper briefly, he notices me, and furrows his brow. Did I say raising his eyebrows? I think I did. I'm glad I didn't say raising his eyeballs. What is it, Nikai? I jump at him, addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's nobody else around. Nothing. Just thinking about what I do after school. The teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen he's holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune. But the teacher's more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No, I considered joining a club, but don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. I don't know how to continue from there. Muto looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't. So I have to forge on ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, neither students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about, or the disabilities. It's like it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. That sort of thing, you know? The teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness, when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Oh, no. Well, Misha's always around anyway, so we don't even have to worry about talking to Shizune. It's kind of natural anyways. Misha crashes in, head straight in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. You could almost say it's a corpse party. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Muto visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha, in general, slumps in his chair. Mikaido. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what.
Yes?
We have talked about volume control before.
Yes?
But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? That almost sounded like a villain.
We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress.
She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that?
Plywood is always a problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little. But that time we just took it all we had. Now there's like none left there. So you know where there is some.
I don't understand. How would I know? And the other reason why I don't understand is because you talk like a maniac. And oops, right-clicked.
Geez, the resident thought that a teacher would know there was some plywood. Was she wrong?
I don't know, maybe you should start ripping it from the walls?
That's a great idea! These walls are stronger than they look. Wow.
Muto looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence. I gotta stop right-clicking, guys. I am so terribly sorry. Frowning with his entire essence. And Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible, like looking at a man tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there is any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any.
What should I do?
I don't know. That's what I was saying. Perhaps try to find Mr. Namoya. I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands. But that's a different matter.
I don't have time. We're so busy. I don't have time to kill a man and then pry him from his hands. That'd be crazy. I'd do it, but I just don't have time to do it.
She holds her head with both of her hands, looking as despairing as it's possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair.
I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do. We are falling behind the schedule.
Muto looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he just didn't at all. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Please don't look at me. Please. He switches to staring at me. Focusedly. Is that a word? With a hard expression, as if trying to say, go make some friends. I don't want to, though. I guess I can give you some a helping hand.
You can? Wow, thanks, G-John. You're the greatest.
She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelping.
Wah!
And then looking very puzzled.
Come to think of it, what's G-John doing here? Class over, you should be having fun.
We just had a little chat.
Oh, no. It's not the teacher, is it? Are you in trouble, G-John?
No. I'm a good boy. I wouldn't do anything wrong.
G-John, a trouble teacher?
Do you not believe me whenever? No, he's not. Muto sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So, what do you need?
Here's the list. I'm gonna try to find the plywood from somewhere. There's the art in the art room.
She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I'd say I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not.
No, thank you, John. Try to be quick. This is all building street now. We must hurry.
She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Hanakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting. This is undoubtedly Shizune's. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit the hallway. Classroom's closet doors are designated belonging to the classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. Carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. Ooh, we're finally meeting the final girl, I think, right? I don't think we have any more girls to meet after this one. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There's some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight, from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desk. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody? Something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Oh, what? How? Whoa, wow! How does that person eating with their foot? This is like that one episode of The Office where Dwight's like, "Who needs hands? You can do everything with your feet." And then he gets Jim hands him the coffee, and he's like, sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. The odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as a part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole, I'd say. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in anime girl. A rabbit in the headlights. A rabbit in the head? Don't you mean a deer in the headlights? Alright, she's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open. Suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think if I should. He's like, anybody? This weird, since you couldn't see my face, I had to make a noise that my mouth was still open. It just didn't really work out too well. Whatever. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me unexpectedly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here, too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here, then? She raised her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai. He's Sal Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Green. Tezuka Green. Green Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. I'm sure she's lived her whole life with this, and if she's making the joke, I'm sure it's fine. While I'm trying to figure what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and now is gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? Bothers me very much too. But I don't really know what I should say. How about dinner? You know, like lunch and dinner, dinner. No? Does it sound good? I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. That's probably why dinner doesn't exist. No, I like the dinner idea. I think that's a great idea, actually. Now that I think about it, maybe I should just exclusively eat dinner from now on. It sounds kind of disgusting though, right? But I'm hungry now. My delicious box lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness even, Rain Once, again, picks up the fork between her toes. With at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me.
So, Nakai, what brings you to this place?
I felt like I just told you. Like I said, I was told to look for things. Do you not listen when I talk?
No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside?
Oh. Come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out.
I can guess. Good at guessing. Better than most people, actually.
Reen cuts me off before I can answer a question. Or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition. Or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here. As the teacher said, I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Reen keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. Do you have to be that loud when thinking? Okay, alright. Just stop thinking then. Just don't think. Just say whatever you want to say right now. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. It's not.
I know I'm just looking.
A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. She's Deathstroke.
I don't think it's anything in her head. Something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. I really wouldn't want to eat your guts. The problem must be in your pants.
No. No. For sure. No. I promise you, it's all good down there. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and the sheer lack of tact was delivered with catches me off completely guard. Speak English? I can. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Reen's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment.
That's right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there?
No. Nothing wrong. No, definitely no. Still, partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed.
How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous.
Yeah, but I don't think I would have had to come to this school if it was just that. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down.
That wasn't the only thing I was like,
okay, listen, okay.
I forgive you. Just I collect people and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great.
You collect people, like their heads? You just chop them off and you're like,
oh, this is my collection, finally. Complete, now with erectile dysfunction. People with different problems.
Huh? So you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them?
Pretty much.
I see. With little left to say, Reen resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me?
Hi, I'm Isao, and I have a very serious heart condition. Wow, how's it going, guys?
Is this how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, Chance opens a steady Reen from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs even when she eats. The distance and the shadows makes it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep whales. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. Makes me feel a bit uncomfortable at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins, The cabins? Like the cabinets? The cabins. The cabin in the woods. And shelves for Misha's things. But after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of the strange girl. So, do you always alone in this late? Or you get the occasional visitor? Like, is like Linner like a normal thing with you and you just haven't thought of that sick name yet, or what? No. I mean, no. I would have thought of it if this wasn't my first time. I would have thought of it for sure. Visitors. Maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? He likes to do sports. Me. Oh, and that's all I can think to say. Both of us fall silent again as Reen forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my haul and double check with Misha's list. Seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have my things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. Hey, I rhymed. That was pretty cool, huh? You need to do whatever you are going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping, like some type of creeper? I guess you do have a problem in the pants in that case, don't you? No. What? No. Not sure what to make of this, but Reen looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. Catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Reen. I feel that our relationship is at a point good enough to warrant this much. I just met you. We had like 2 sentences of conversation. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then. I'm Hisa. Then you are. Reen looks at me hard in the eyes, but the intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. Like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face. Maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that.
What did you hear?
I jumped at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy, and very unlike Misha. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought way aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof, as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited.
No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club eating today.
She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyways because I closed it just a second ago and she saw me do so. What are you guys doing here? I thought you had a lot of work to do.
It took so long that we had to come and check out what's wrong. There's no goodie, John.
She wags her finger at me scoldingly.
I felt plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy.
Oh, sorry. I got these things. They're here. Was just going to bring them. I think you were up to
some mischief, John. Who was in there with you? I wonder.
Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she's experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and aptitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Reen, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning this sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if it was somehow my fault that Reen is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness, because it's not. Hello. Reen's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. Open the door to find Reen directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello.
Miss Tezuka, what do you think you're doing? That's not a any musical property for such disgraceful activity.
It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular.
It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. I'd go with the unhappy part. She looks cuter from the side. At any rate, she ignores Shizune, Misha, scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Clone no jutsu.
Popularity.
Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Please.
Stop, Misha.
I wish I could, but I can't.
Okay, we gotta move on.
Anyway, how's your project going? We'll be done for the festival.
Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure. Suzune's cold stare is putting on her.
I keep wondering that myself too.
And
We'll think about it harder.
As Misha signs a reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown.
Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. You'll be sitting after the wall, looking up at the wall, but the wall looks like someone threw up in their lunch on it, and you stupid little weirdo.
That was pretty rude, don't you think?
Rin nods assertively.
We'll think more seriously? Is that what you wanted?
Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes some materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo.
How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. Into the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are. But more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap. To unforeseen future.
I'm about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom.
Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it.
She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up.
Yeah, with my strong buff arms. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need me to take it? I'll take it anywhere. Yeah.
Away. Up, and away.
And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us.
Why you acting like I'm a person?
I don't know, you're a paint can, I'm carrying you together, and there's no choice for either of us.
Yeah, but you don't have to act like I don't have a choice for anything, ever. So, why you even...
Okay, why'd you get a voice then, huh? Why'd you get to talk to me?
Just a split-second decision, I guess. Just keep reading, whatever. Use your thoughts, whatever.
The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shizune and Michigan, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps...
Make up your mind.
I got it. I make 20, okay? 20 steps. I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. Yeah? So you're not making a remark now, are you? At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Reen strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight.
Hey, I'm not that heavy.
It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below. Trouble appears in the form of a head nurse and his fox-like grin.
Ah, Mr. Nakai. What a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course.
He nods courteously to Reen, who does not acknowledge him back. He turns to me because obviously it's me who has some business with.
There's something I forgot to mention on Monday.
I nod and wait passively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either.
It's about your medications. If you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So, we will do a few tests regularly, but What I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off. If you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come and see me if something happens. Alright. How are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently, this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and I skip line of text. Sorry, guys. And both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give it a generic answer anyway. We just give him a generic answer. We can't even know. We don't even know. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool. So I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't. But his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people. Well, that's not the issue here, so just don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. Picked up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. Stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Shizuka, do you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by my shoulder without waiting for Reen's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it will be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment and shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. Don't right-click in the middle of my sentence. The end of the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Reen, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusedly than I intended, accusatory even, accidentally lashing out at her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Reen's fault, is it? I look up at her. Suddenly feeling a bit guilty, Reen is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. Feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Reen keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital was easy, but still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Reen leads on us upwards, Woo, towards the dorm. Sorry guys, for the yawn. We stop the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design of the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. Can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, The left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I had to work on it, but the guys from our art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. Easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. Reach is better, and it's faster too.
She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate, even though I got the point already. A white con on her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place. Like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has it in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreamy feelings, of course, dreary feelings even, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering.
That's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost and the world is destroyed and we're all dead and then, you know, it's just the end of the world, huh? Sad.
Why would all hope be lost?
Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. Okay, all hope is lost. And there's not going to be a new hope either.
She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. But nothing she said so far has made any sense to me whatsoever. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project. You did this?
Yes, yes.
All of it?
Yes.
Nice, but...
Don't compliment my butt randomly.
No, nice, but... I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness.
It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. Probably.
I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. Feels that I'm way more sensitive than Reen is, though. This is really awkward.
Don't you want to ask?
How do you paint without hands?
See? I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet, of course.
I'm almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do?
You're good at guessing, anyway. I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now.
I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist. Seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us have anything more to add to the subject.
The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I want to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat?
Well, paintings tend to be flat.
Not like that flat. You know, flat. Like some people are, no substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few girls...
Okay, I get it. You don't have to... Yeah, got it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not really that good with art. I can't name any artist or artist terms, artistic even, so I don't really have anything to say. Reen shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there.
I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I want to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any.
Reen sure is quick to recruit my help. That's what Shizune. Really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Not that you know what I meant. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though.
It's just mixing some paints. You can do that. Probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, those people who have motor control problems? Cerebral palsy, maybe?
No, not that I know of, really.
I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that.
She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't.
Let's do it then.
So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. Open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into the shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Reen sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or another. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best.
Add a half a splash of green.
I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green.
The other green, this green.
I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl.
No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add?
No idea. You're the artist here. A hint smile appears in the corners of her mouth.
Do you lack an opinion?
No, it's just that I have no idea.
It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white.
With this explanation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter.
That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream, but you can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow.
Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense is being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. It's been the moments I've been between mixing paints, crouching down on the paving, and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rain doesn't seem to mind it the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time, and even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues. As if there was some need to conserve words and breath and sound. Oh, look at that added stuff. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. Those eyes are creepy looking. Alright, that seems like a great place to end it. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like if you enjoyed, subscribe for some more, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Katawa Shoujo. Wait, there's probably... Oh, no. Okay, good. Waking up. See you guys then. I guess we're going to sleep. We're not waking yet. Yeah, I mean, because we're leaving. The episode's over, I'm saying. Bye.